Hi there. You know, one of the great catchphrases of the Bible is found in 1 John 4 verse 4, which says, "Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world." And you'll find that on t-shirts, coffee mugs and screensavers everywhere. Boss giving you a hard time at work? Well, greater is he that's in you than he is in the world. You can do this, right? You can overcome. But actually, the context for the verse is about overcoming deception. The deception that is at work in the world, where there is false teaching given by false prophets. And as we know, our battle is not against flesh and blood. Other people are not the enemy. It's the spirit of the Antichrist, John says, that's at work in the world. It's Satan, the god of this world, who seeks to deceive us and empowers false prophets to lead us astray. But what does John say about that? Let's read what he actually says in verse 4. He says, "You little children are from God, and you have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world." How do we overcome? By our superior intellect and understanding? No, he says, you're just little children. But we can overcome because greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. So who's in us? Well, the Spirit of Jesus. And who's in the world? Well, Satan and the satanic forces of deception that seek to lead us astray by tempting us and discouraging us and causing us to act in fear. But if we are listening and submitting to Jesus as Lord, which, as John goes on to say, will be evidenced by our love for one another, then we will overcome the deception of the God of this world, because the Spirit at work in us is greater, is more powerful than the Spirit at work in this world. Recently an international student who attends our church, he came to me at the end of a meeting with a vision that he'd had. He's facing a very difficult situation and possible persecution if he has to return home. And he was anxious and fearful about the situation. It's one of those situations where the enemy would love to tempt us to doubt God and that God is in control, But he had this vivid vision, and he came to me wanting to know what the vision meant. He said he saw very vividly, he saw this kind of pair of eyes staring at him. He says the eyes of a lion. And as he looked, the lion began to back away and then disappeared. "Pastor," he said, "what does that mean?" So I thought about it, and then I told him, well, there are two lions mainly depicted in the Bible. There's the Lion of Judah that we see in the book of Revelation. The risen, victorious Lord Jesus is the Lion of Judah. And when people see him, they tend to be filled with awe and fall down and worship him. "Is that what you felt like doing?" I asked him. He said, "No. Actually," he said, I was bigger than the lion." Well, I said, the other lion that we see depicted in the Bible is the devil. He is described as a roaring lion, prowling around, seeking those he can devour. He's a liar and a deceiver, and he will seek to intimidate you and cause you to worry and to act in fear. Do you think maybe that's what those eyes were doing? "Yes," he said. "Well, here's the thing," I said. "As a follower of Jesus, you have the Lion of Judah inside of you. The Spirit of Jesus is in you. And greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So you have nothing to fear. You can resist the devil and he will flee from you." He said, "That's what I saw in the vision." He said he was backing off until he disappeared. So I said, well, be encouraged. When you're tempted to fear the worst or to doubt God in your situation, remember who is in you. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Right? You can overcome because Jesus has already overcome the world. He has triumphed over Satan through the cross. He is seated on the throne of heaven. He is the Lion of Judah who has all power and authority, and his Spirit lives in you. I think he was encouraged. And so, if you are listening to this today and you're trusting in Jesus, then his Spirit lives in you as well. And so keep reminding yourself of that and keep trusting him. Because as John says later on in chapter 5, verse 4, he says, this is the victory that overcomes the world, your faith. So keep on trusting and go and be an overcomer today. God bless you.